And welcome, I am Uncle Snaf. Today we're going to do a review on the off-grid knives OG219 Rapid Fire Assisted Flipper Knife. This knife has the Japanese AUS-8 blade with the G10 handle. And we're going to get right into this thing because I'll be honest with you, I am absolutely loving this knife. This is a really well-built knife. The quality on this thing is stunning. Now, let's get into a quick thing. Price point on it, $62.95 right now. So this is a budget knife, believe it or not. And when I use the term budget, I mean in comparison to something like a zero tolerance, which is going to start you off at anywhere from about $200 and run you up to maybe even $400. Big difference in price. So this is the budget knife set, all right? And that's kind of a big deal, really. A lot of people, like myself, I'm not shelling out $400 for a knife. I like a good knife. I've been carrying good knives most of my lifetime, and I'm a firm believer in carrying a good knife, but that doesn't mean I'm shelling out top dollars for it. It just doesn't work that way. It's too easy to lose, that kind of thing. If I lose this knife, I'm not horridly upset. Yes, I'll be disappointed, but I'm not horridly upset because I can turn right around, go back online, pick up another one, and know I'm getting a top quality knife. That being said, this knife compares every single bit to any ZT knife out there, any zero tolerance knife, in price comparison, all right? I have to make that distinction for many reasons. But you're just not paying for all the cost. I mean, really, it's really a very nice. Let's get into the very first thing on it. Opening this knife up, all right? When it comes to opening and closing this knife, handling this knife is wonderful. Flips open very easily, very positive as an opener. You can use thumb assisted, all right? This is a spring assisted knife. Opening and closing it, look at one-handed, no problem. Not an issue whatsoever, all right? Now, you'll notice I am left-handed, all right? Which means I'm always in my right mind. But right-handed, left-handed, it doesn't matter. Sorry, I'm just not as good with my right hand. But it doesn't matter, left-handed, right-handed. It's still a very easily to use knife. Ambidextrous, you know, again, I don't know why a knife would worry about left hand versus right hand, but some knives are a little bit more. Believe it or not, this knife right here is better for a right-hander than it is for a left-hander. This has been a really good knife, both righties and lefties. So no complaints whatsoever. I have mine actually set up with a clip. Now the clip is a 4-point clip, all right? So you got 4 points, left and right, top and bottom, point up or point down. Your decision whatsoever, no problem. The only disappointment I have with the clip is that the clip end here is a little flat from the manufacturer. With a simple pair of pliers or a crescent wrench, you can actually bend it up. It's spring steel. I was able to get a nice curvature out of mine. Mine slips in and out of my pocket so nice and easy. Oh my goodness, it's just like butter. Just like butter. It's really gets in and out of the pocket very easy. Now, here's the thing. I got big hands, all right? Big hands are always a problem when you're dealing with knives, all right? And the problem is that, you know, first of all, with big hands, this makes the knife look a little bit smaller, that kind of thing. Don't be fooled, this is a big knife. The blade is 3.75 inches, and the handle is 4.75 inches. The weight on this, though, is amazing. It's only 6 ounces, which is really cool, because if you were to take a look at the legal eagle from the same company, this is 4.8 ounces, and this is a heavy knife for its size, all right? But this knife here, this is only 6 ounces. This is a very lightweight knife for its size, and one of the reasons is very simply this is the AUS-8 steel. Because of the type of steel they're using, it makes it so they don't have to make the blades as thick, and because you have that loss of thickness, you have a reduction in weight. It's simple mathematics. Same thing on the inside. The stainless steel on the inside is the same stuff, and they don't have to use as much of it. It's thinner. So the inner body on it is actually thinner. It's got a good spring lock to it. The locking mechanism is wonderful, and because they don't have to use so much G10 and so much of the inner material, it knocks down on the weight of this knife a lot. It actually makes, in my opinion, makes this knife a lot more comfortable because it's not as fat a handle. So you don't have this great big giant fat handle get in the way. The G10 is extremely grippy, and they come in two different types of millings on this. There's a green handle with a diamond pattern milling, and then there's this handle here, and I don't know what this milling is called, but it's just very comfortable, and it looks great. Aesthetically, it's an extremely pleasing knife to look at. So I love the aesthetics on it whatsoever. The thumb points on it are actually really kind of cool because they're actually really well done. They're very grippy, but on top of it, they maintain some really nice looks. I have to say they've paid a lot of detail to the details, and it really shows in the quality of this blade. You can also tell that all the sharp edges of the blade that from milling and that kind of thing have been knocked down. They did a great job of making sure that they were properly tumbled in a ceramic tumbler, so everything, there's no sharp edges, nothing's uncomfortable, nothing's poking out and protruding at you, I mean outside of the sharpness of the blade. The AUS8 steel does hold its edge very well. So far in everything that I've seen, I haven't had any problems with it. Sharpening it is actually very simple. And I just use a ceramic sharpening stone. I mean, a simple El Cheapo ceramic sharpening stone keeps this thing absolutely razor sharp. No issues whatsoever maintaining the blade on this thing. I can't complain at all. If you're going to compare this knife to a zero tolerance, it has all the features. One of the things I really like about it is the grind on here. This is a drop point style grind, but this is really more of a big curve to it than you would find with most standard drop points, where the drop point you'd have more of a turn here and then less curvature here. In this particular case, it's actually more of a curve up, and I would actually say this is more like a hunting knife in the aspect of it gives you the ability to actually cut and do your cleaning. All your cleaning and dressing can be done with this knife simply because of the curvature of the blade. So if you're into hunting, that is actually a big selling point to this knife. This is actually a working knife. It's not just some tactical knife that you can stick in your pocket and look cool. Ooh, I'm not a big fan of the whole tactical thing. I'm not going to use this knife to defend the world against bad guys and all that kind of stuff. This is going to sit in my pocket and do my bidding of the work that I've got to do and the cutting that I got to do and that kind of thing. And that's it. You know, you can get into the whole personal defense thing and all that kind of stuff. I've been carrying knives as tools for that for all my life, and you know, that's what a knife is. A knife is a tool. So if you're going to get into it for the defensive thing, that's on you. That's no problem. Hey, it's a great defensive knife in that aspect, but at the same time, I find this to be a good working blade. My only complaints about this entire knife, and I will say there's 3 of them that bother me, but not enough to keep me from buying the knife, but just 3 things that bother me with this knife. I don't have any need for the serration, so a serrated blade for me just kind of is a moot thing. I'm not a big fan of serration, so I do wish that they would give this in a straight grind version as well as a serration version that gives me a little bit more ability to have the choice. That being said, I'm not put out at all with this serration. It is razor sharp, and I cut myself the other day on it accidentally because I forgot the serration was there. And yeah, it's razor sharp. No issues. The other thing that I thought was a disappointment was, again, fat fingers. Now, if you have regular size fingers, that's one thing, but if you're like me and you got fat fingers, trying to disengage the locking mechanism because it sits so flush in with the G10 is actually a little on the difficult side. So that's been a little bit of an issue that I have with this blade. Their tactical eagle, the Legal Eagle, has the lock protruding a little bit more, and it makes it very easy to get to. I wish they had done the same with this particular knife, because it does make a difference when you're opening and closing a knife. That being said, it's not difficult to close. It's just that you have to put a little bit more finger pressure into it closing it. It would be a little bit more comfortable if that had been milled out a little bit differently. Outside of that, that, and of course I said the clip, the tip of the clip, if that would be rounded up a little bit more for ease to get in and out of pockets. Outside of that, that's it. That's my only complaints. This is well worth the price. Absolutely well worth the price. Now, I got mine, believe it or not, for $49.95. It was on sale. They had a good thing. The prices had gone down for that little bit. Check them out. The prices do vary. Right now, they got them online at $62.95. And which is still a groovy price. I'm really digging the price on it. Again, when you're comparing it to a $200 knife, I'd much rather shell out $62 than $200. That makes a big difference. But like I said, it's a big knife. So, you know, I'm using these other two knife series comparison. This is not a small knife by any stretch of the imagination. This is the Legal Eagle. That's a little less than 3-inch blade. That's a 3.5-inch blade. That's the 3 3/4 blade. So that gives you an idea of size references and that kind of thing. You're going to like this knife. Man, are you going to like this knife. So go check them out. It's Off-Grid Knives, www.offgridknives.com. And it's definitely well worth checking them out. Outside of that, I am out of here. I'm Uncle Snaf, and this has been my review of the OG219 Rapid Fire Assisted Flipper Knife. I'm out of here. See ya.